الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر.
Regarding Hajj, a common question arises: what is the fundamental difference between Hajj and Umrah, and what specific procedure must one follow to perform Hajj correctly according to religious guidelines? Understanding these distinctions is very important for everyone who intends to embark on this sacred spiritual journey to the holy city of Makkah. Now, although there are entire documentaries and extensive books written on the various methods, I will take a moment to explain the basics of Hajj and Umrah to you in a very simple way. Both of these rituals are actually very simple. It is certainly nothing to worry about in terms of understanding, because many people get overwhelmed by seeing such thick books and so many complex issues. You see, Hajj essentially consists of two main foundational things. There is one primary condition that must be met, and then there are also two core pillars of the Hajj itself. What exactly are these pillars? Well, the first is standing in Arafat, which specifically means being there on the 9th day of Dhul Hijjah. Starting from after the midday period until the break of dawn, if during that specific time frame any small or significant amount of your time is spent in that location, if that duration is spent on the day of Arafah, specifically at the site of Arafah, on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah while standing in the historic plain of Arafat. Let me repeat that point once more. After midday on the 9th, remember the next day is Eid, so it is the day before Eid, which is specifically the 9th of Dhul Hijjah in the traditional calendar. If between the period of midday and the time before the break of dawn, you happen to be in the plain of Arafat for even a brief moment, your presence there fulfills the requirement. If you spend even a few seconds there, then one major pillar of your Hajj pilgrimage has been successfully performed and completed. The sunnah isn't just about spending a single second. The complete sunnah way is to stay there in Arafah from after the Zawal time until the evening prayer of Maghrib has officially begun. And then after Maghrib, you head to Muzdalifah. That is the sunnah way, but the obligatory pillar, meaning your Hajj will be legally valid, is that one pillar will be considered fulfilled. What is the second pillar? It is Tawaf-e-Ziyarat. What does Tawaf-e-Ziyarat mean? It is the Tawaf performed during the first 3 days of the Eid festival. If you complete those 7 circuits around the house of Allah, these are the two pillars. If someone fulfills these two, provided you are in the state of Ihram, the condition is Ihram. Meaning for the stay at Arafah, the condition is being in the state of Ihram. For Tawaf-e-Ziyarat, being in Ihram is not a condition. What does condition mean? Like wudu is a condition for prayer. Now, what are the pillars of prayer? Standing, bowing and prostrating are all considered pillars of prayer, but the prerequisite condition is being in the state of wudu. Without wudu, these pillars won't be valid at all. Similarly, being in the state of Ihram is absolutely essential for Hajj. What exactly is Ihram? I will explain that to you shortly. For now, understand that you must be in the state of Ihram, and then while in that state, you will observe the ritual stay at the plain of Arafah. This means you go and stay in the plain of Arafat even for a short while, and then you perform Tawaf-e-Ziyarat during the celebratory days of Eid. Thus your Hajj is performed. As for the rest of the rituals of Hajj, such as the stoning of the pillars or the various other rites that pilgrims usually perform during their journey, or staying in Mina, some of these rituals are mandatory. If you do not perform them, you will be held sinful. However, offering a sacrifice will successfully compensate for it, and some rituals are not even strictly obligatory. They are actually just considered highly emphasized religious traditions. Like the stay in Mina, and some rituals are even non-emphasized traditions. You can easily read those specific details in various books on the subject. An ordinary person doesn't really need all that. Just understand that if you perform two things while in the state of Ihram, the ritual stay at Arafat and the Tawaf specifically, your Hajj is performed. You perform the stay and the Tawaf-e-Ziyarat, then your Hajj is complete. You'll be called a Haji or an Al-Hajj. If any minor mistakes were made during the process, consult the scholars. For some mistakes, you must offer a sacrifice. For others, you don't. Those details are in books. If I get the chance, before next year starts, inshallah, I'll record a high-quality Hajj documentary in my own voice, using visual slides and very simple words to explain everything clearly. Those were the pillars of Hajj. Umrah's pillar is just Tawaf in Ihram. The condition is being in the state of Ihram. Once that is done, the Umrah is complete. As for the Sa'i, which is the walking between Safa and Marwa, it is a separate part of the ritual, but very important nonetheless. People often think it's more complicated than it is, but once you are in the holy state, it all flows very naturally for the pilgrim. It is obligatory in both Hajj and Umrah. So this is obligatory. If someone misses the Sa'i, they must offer a sacrifice. Now, what exactly is Ihram and why is it significant? What is it called? As I said, the condition for Umrah is that you perform Tawaf in Ihram, and for Hajj, the condition is that you perform the stay at Arafat in Ihram. So what is Ihram? Understand this. Ihram is not just those two sheets. To understand ihram, think of it like when we say the opening takbir in prayer with intent. As soon as we say Allahu Akbar, certain restrictions are imposed on us. What are those restrictions? Well, now that you have started, you can no longer talk to anyone about worldly matters, and you absolutely cannot eat or drink anything until the prayer is finished. So these specific restrictions of the prayer are officially imposed upon you by saying the opening takbir, which marks the start of your communication with the divine and your separation from the worldly environment. So effectively, after saying the opening takbir, we enter the sanctified state of prayer, and now you cannot talk, you cannot eat or drink, you cannot turn left or right, and you cannot break the prayer without a valid reason. You must complete it fully without any necessity for interruption. It cannot be that you start the prayer and then say, come on, let's break it now and I'll pray in a little while. No, no, no. Once you have begun, finishing it correctly becomes an obligatory act for you to perform to completion. Just as every prayer has an opening takbir after which certain restrictions apply to the worshipper, similarly Hajj and Umrah have the state of ihram, which is officially initiated by reciting the talbiyah. This marks the moment when the pilgrim enters a sacred boundary and begins their journey with total focus and devotion to the commands of Allah Almighty during the pilgrimage. That is, you recite the talbiyah, you say these words, and after that you make the intention verbally, "Oh Allah, I intend to perform Umrah," or "Oh Allah, I intend to perform Hajj." So accept it and make it easy. When you say these specific words with this sincere intention, you have entered ihram, meaning you have formally committed yourself to Hajj or Umrah. Now after entering ihram, you must follow the rules. Several restrictions begin for you. In prayer, when you say the opening takbir, what are the rules? No eating or drinking, no talking, and no unnecessary movement. Similarly, once you enter the ihram for Hajj or Umrah, the first restriction is no stitched clothing for men, though women may wear it. Now you cannot wear stitched clothes. Now you cannot apply perfume. Now hair cannot be cut or plucked from any part of the body. Neither can they be cut, nor can you trim your nails. You cannot use any scented products at all. Furthermore, you cannot kill any animal during this time, which is another one of the rules that comes into effect once you enter ihram. Meaning any animals categorized as game. These are all the various restrictions. Once you enter the state of ihram, these rules apply strictly to you. Now, what is it like exiting the state of prayer? In prayer, when we start with takbir tahrima and finally finish with the greeting of assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, we are then freed from the imposed restrictions. Similarly, in Hajj and Umrah, you will intend to exit ihram once you have performed the stay at Arafat and Muzdalifah and completed the ritual of stoning the jamarat. This process marks the transition back to your normal everyday life after the sacred rites. Then you offer sacrifice and cut hair. Cutting the hair is necessary, or you can shave it entirely, which is even better. Those with long hair can choose to cut them by just one fingertip's length to fulfill the religious requirement. For those whose hair is only a fingertip long, how would they cut it? They would have to shave it entirely. Once you complete this, you will be released from the restrictions of ihram. So this is the simple concept of ihram that I have presented to you. Many people mistakenly think that these two sheets are the ihram itself. These are part of the restrictions of ihram, that you must not wear stitched clothing. This also shows that you can change your sheets even after entering ihram. These sheets don't define the state itself. Directly none, rather not wearing stitched clothes is the restriction you must follow. Obviously, if you don't wear stitched clothes, you won't walk around naked, you have to wear something. So you can wear anything you want as long as it isn't stitched. If you go to bathe, you can do so without using any soap, and in that case too, it is perfectly fine to wash up during your journey while maintaining the state. You can remove your ihram sheets or change them for clean ones. As for the restrictions on women, some are exactly the same as for men, such as not using any perfume or scented oils and avoiding certain acts. This includes things like bathing with scented soap and so on. But for a woman's ihram, there is no specific required dress. She must simply ensure she is modest and covered. She should wear a proper full outfit. The only restriction on her is that the cloth should not touch her face directly. The garment must not touch her face, which is why modest women use a cap-style niqab there that keeps the veil away from the skin while still providing the necessary coverage from others, which hangs in front of the cap. This should be done because veiling the face is obligatory for a young woman in every case, whether she has gone to perform Umrah or Hajj. Normally, in general circumstances, hiding the face from non-mahrams is obligatory, so the female companions also used niqabs when they would lower the niqab when men passed. Veiling is necessary for a young woman, but the cloth must not touch the face. If it touches, there are rules about how to compensate. The cloth touches for a short while, give some charity, but if it stays touching for 12 hours at different times, then dam becomes obligatory and 12 hours. Thus, scholars say that after Hajj, one should give a few riyals in charity to compensate for minor lapses. But dam is not always mandatory. Dam refers to the act of sacrificing a goat, cow, or lamb in the haram. This is only for serious violations. Women shouldn't worry about the wind blowing the cloth against their face occasionally, as these minor things are easily forgiven through small acts of charity. Lamb in the haram. Similarly, cutting hair is not allowed for men or women. Sometimes a man might stroke his beard and a few hairs break, or hair from the head falls out, so when you give a few reals in charity, it will all be compensated. Dam does not become obligatory so easily. For dam, there must be a significant violation or mistake. That would be a major mistake. That major mistake is that you wore stitched clothing for a period of 12 hours or more during the pilgrimage. Or if a man or woman kept their face covered for 12 hours, whether continuously or if the combined time across different intervals totals 12 hours. So this is the simple concept of ihram. I hope, God willing, that you have understood it clearly now. Relaxing music concludes the explanation.